So if you remember from the last video, this word utility is just another word for satisfaction. We're going to be using those two terms interchangeably. So now we're going to be talking about utility theory. So let me begin by asking you a couple things. First and foremost, think about the last thing that you bought. What is the very last thing that you spent money on? Why did you purchase it? Was it fuel to put in your vehicle to get you to work? Was it food that you're going to cook for dinner one night that you bought at the grocery store? Or was it that you took somebody out on a date and took them somewhere to a nice restaurant? Why did you buy this particular good? Why did you pay money on it? Why did you pay that bill for electricity? Why did you buy a flat screen TV? Why did you buy coffee this morning from a coffee shop? Well, it's very simple. For the satisfaction that these items or services bring. Why'd you buy fuel to put in your vehicle? Well, to get to work, to make money, to be able to go out and buy the things that you want to buy, to increase your enjoyment in life, to increase the amount of satisfaction that you obtain. Why did you pay the electric bill? Well, simply because you want to have electricity to be able to cook food at night. Why did you take somebody out on a date? Well, that's very simple. Because you enjoy their company and you thought it would enhance your afternoon to take somebody out on a date. So why do you purchase things? Well, the very simple answer is for the satisfaction that these items bring. If all they brought was misery and pain, a rational person, now I'm going to throw that term in there, a rational person, because that's one of our assumptions from the last lesson, is that a rational person would not buy something unless it brought them some kind of satisfaction. So next we're going to go over a couple of terms. The first one is utility. We've been over this one. It's just another word for satisfaction. Now we're going to get into a term called utils. A utils is a psychological unit of satisfaction derived from consumption. This term util is an unquantifiable and it's basically imaginary. So a util is a unit of satisfaction. But here poses a problem whenever we're dealing with units of satisfaction. First and foremost, a unit of satisfaction is not going to be the same for everybody. Everybody's level of satisfaction is different, and whenever, say, I consume a bowl of ice cream and so does Jim Bob, and I say it's 10 utils for me because it's 10 units of satisfaction, he says it's 15 units. Well, his level of satisfaction might be different than mine. We might be comparing apples and oranges here on a bowl of ice cream. And he might enjoy that ice cream actually less than I do. And there's really no way to measure, to quantify this level of satisfaction. So this term is basically made up. It's an imaginary term that discusses the units of satisfaction. But now that we know that it's a made up term, we're going to use this throughout the utility theory and throughout consumer theory because it helps us kind of conceptualize things. And whenever we're talking about, well, do we prefer a pizza versus a hamburger, a slice of pizza over a thing of hamburger? Well, which one provides more satisfaction? Which one provides more utils? It allows us to start conceptualizing that aspect. So just know we might use the term utils, but there's no real way to quantify satisfaction. So we use it to conceptualize things, to show how things work, but it's basically an imaginary term. Then we have this utility function. This utility function is an algebraic expression that allows us to rank a consumption bundle by the total utility it provides. A consumption bundle is a particular combinations of goods being considered. So basically what the algebraic function or this utility function allows us to do is basically rank a pile of goods by the total amount of utils or total amount of utility that it provides. Which one provides the most amount of satisfaction? Which bundle of goods do? And what this total utility is the amount of utility derived from each bundle. How much satisfaction are we obtaining from these consumption bundles? So utility theory simplified before we go in there and complicate things. We like to do that in economics. I'm gonna like to do that in this class. I'm gonna tell you the simplified version and something to kind of keep on the back of your mind, the theory behind it, the very simple concept, so that way everything else starts to make sense. So the utility theory simplified is that Everyone has this utility function, although you may not be aware of it. You may not be aware that you have this utility function, but everybody does. And you're going to use this utility function to determine which group of goods will bring the highest amount of total utility, highest amount of satisfaction. What group of goods are you going to be buying to bring you the highest amount of satisfaction? So you use this function to decide what you're going to buy. Just like you stop and you're in, say you're in a restaurant and you have two different items. You're going to be either buying hamburgers or you're going to be buying something like tacos, for example. Well, which one do you go with, hamburgers or tacos? Well, if you go with hamburgers, why hamburgers? Because you thought it was going to bring you more satisfaction. And all the meanwhile, this utility function is at work behind the scenes, and you're not even aware that you do have this utility function. So let's kind of go over an example of what this utility function is. And let's say we have a total utility of the amount of satisfaction that we're going to be obtaining is the number of burgers times the number of pizzas. So we have bundle A, and bundle A says that we can have 3 hamburgers or 10 slices of pizza and obtain a total utility of 30 units. So our total amount of satisfaction, our total utils would be 30 units. Bundle B, maybe we get 4 hamburgers and 7 pizzas, and our total utility is 28. We obtain 28 utils off of this. Bundle C, we can have 2 hamburgers or 15 slices of pizza, and our total satisfaction is 30. So as a rational consumer, you seek to maximize this satisfaction. You seek to obtain the most amount of satisfaction. So if these were your options, you could have this A, B, or C. Which one are you going to choose? Well, you're going to choose either option A or option C. Why? Very simply, option A and option C yield the highest amount of satisfaction, the highest amount of utility. So as we go through this, we're going to say that bundle A is preferred to bundle B. Why? Because bundle A provides a higher amount of satisfaction, a higher amount of total utility. But bundle A is indifferent to bundle C. Why? Because they both yield the same amount of utility. It doesn't matter if you have 3 hamburgers and 10 pizzas or 2 hamburgers and 15 pizzas, you're going to get the same amount of satisfaction in either one. That being said, bundle C is preferred to bundle B. Why? Because it yields a higher amount of satisfaction. So as we're going through this, I know it might be kind of hard to imagine. It's going to be hard to imagine, wrap your head around the aspect that consumers do have a specific utility function. But yet this is going to be the basis for consumer theory. And you may not, while it may be hard to imagine this, to understand the aspect that, I have a utility theory and this is the amount, or this utility function, and this is the amount that I'm going to buy because of my utility function, and I can mathematically do all this. But at the end of the day, if you just stop and think about the goods that you do buy, why do you buy so many of a certain good and so much of another one? Why do you buy this versus that? Why are you going with tacos over pizza? Why are you going with certain things? Why do you spend money the way you spend it? Well, it's because you have this underlying utility function that you probably were never even aware of. And it's telling you how you should spend your money based off of what is going to yield you the highest amount of satisfaction. Like I said, these are all simple concepts. You're going to be spending the money with what gives you the highest amount of satisfaction. Now we're just throwing some terminology onto it.